I think it's in July. Was it July, June or July? July, just to thank God for their being there for 20 years and we being able to work together for that long. I have mentored many, many people. But most people drop off somewhere. These ones have stuck. So, and I want to thank God for their commitment, both John and Peter, for that. I want to read for you the book of Romans, chapter 1, that talks about thanksgiving. Just listen to verse 21. For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God, nor gave thanks to him, but their thinking became futile, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools, and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images made to look like a mortal human being, and birds, and animals, and reptiles. Therefore, God gave them over to their sinful desires. Verse 26. Because of this, God gave them over to shameful lusts. Even their women exchanged natural sexual relations to unnatural ones. In the same way, the men also abandoned natural relations with the women and were inflamed. Men committed shameful acts. Are you hearing that when you hear homosexuality coming to Kenya, Paul says the source is lack of gratitude? Let me read again so that you don't think I'm creating it. For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God, nor gave thanks to him. Therefore, the rest happened. So I want to thank God for Peter and Christine, that they can sit back and obey Romans 21. Chapter 1, verse 21. Sit back, evaluate, and give thanks for what God has done. Of course, I want to encourage them not to wait for another 17 years. Especially now that they can see there is a biblical requirement. But I think it's important for us to give thanks. Since I don't have a lot of time, I want to give you 4 reasons why people find it hard to give thanks. And then you go asking yourself, Peter and Christine, they are not my sermon because they have already given thanks. What about you? What makes you not give thanks? Number 1, the reason we don't give thanks is because when you give thanks, you are kind of depreciating yourself. You hear people giving testimony. And the way they are giving testimony is not God they are glorifying. They are glorifying themselves. Because sometimes when you give God all the glory, you wonder, did you do anything? So we tell stories in such a way that glory comes to us rather than to God. Why? Because tunataka hata mjue hata sisi tuko. And that's one of the reasons why it is difficult to give thanks. Because you want the glory to go to you. So when you, Peter and Christine, call us here and then tell us it's God who has done it, we thought it was them. But they tell us, no. If truth be told, and both Christine and Peter have said it, it is God who has done it. And the glory goes to God. To God. So they are kind of removing the spotlight from them. So I'm asking you, in which areas are you getting the glory that should be going to God, and no wonder you cannot call us for a cup of tea to tell us what God has done? Or you call us for a cup of tea to give us how wonderful you are. So the first thing you must deal with is the realization, if truth be told, God is the one who has done things in your life. But when you do not want him to be glorified, it will be difficult to give thanks. The second reason why people don't give thanks is because of a spirit of entitlement. God, I got saved. I have lived for you. If you are like me, I can say I've been born again around 60 years. And you start saying, surely, God, are you not lucky to have me? So how will you call a Thanksgiving item when it's God which will be thanking you? You think I'm joking, but I still remember one of the people in Valley Road saying exactly, in the days of Pastor White, saying exactly those words. He actually, I don't know what they had discussed with Pastor White. And Pastor White gave him a chance. And he said how wonderful he is, who he moves with. And he says God must be lucky to have somebody. My wife keeps reminding me, you just looked and wondered. Right at the front of Barrow Road. The spirit of entitlement, thinking that God owes you anything, can cause you to lack thanks. Would you agree with me? Yes. You need to understand that God can do without you easily. So the fact that he is blessing you, he is taking care of your health, is not because of anything you had. That's why I find it so difficult to, when I start hearing people saying, God, you know, I've done this and this and this. You know, there was a time I was not feeling well, and a sister met Rebecca, my wife, somewhere, and said, Hiya, even Brother Nga can get sick. The message was, there must be something wrong. God owes Nganga health. So him to be sick, there is a problem with God. Now, you need to understand, the spirit of entitlement is terrible. The spirit of entitlement makes you not say thank you. The other day, I was speaking about marriage, and I say, husbands are entitled. When the wife brings a cup of tea, they can't say thank you. After all, why did I marry you? Now, once you are entitled, the word thanks disappears. Are we together? So you need to understand, the Bible is talking about thankfulness, but you cannot be thankful the moment you are entitled. You know, you come from wherever, because my friend Moisaka has told our younger friend to buy a dress for Christine. I think from the way she's dressed, she already has been bought. But if others are welcome, but we can see their dresses. But you come all the way, you don't go abroad very often, and you come abroad and you give your wife a dress. And she kind of tells you, who else would you have bought? She has no thanks, because after all, you are my husband. My friend, how many husbands are buying Dogodogo's dresses? If yours buys you a dress, shouldn't you be grateful? Many marriages are getting broken because of that thing called entitlement. It's a dangerous thing. It causes you to lack thanks and to have bad relationship with the people because of thankfulness. Or lack of, rather, entitlement, and therefore lack of thankfulness. But these two have realized, if truth be told, God has done something. But number three, the reason why we are not thankful is because we do not count our blessings, naming them one by one. The chorus has been changed. We now count our curses, naming them one by one. Surprises how much God has forgotten us. There's nothing to thank God. Even if I was to call people to thank God for what? You know, look at my children. They normally fill with glowing colors. Peters or pass. Why am I calling a meeting? Because you are counting your curses. The songwriter said, no. It's not that there are no problems, but ignore them and first of all concentrate on what God has done. And it will surprise you what the Lord has done. So lack of thankfulness comes out of that trend of counting curses, thinking about the things that are wrong. And the truth is, I'm in my 70s, you can look back into all those years and see what has gone wrong. And they have gone wrong in many areas. But that is the devil pushing you the wrong direction. Just turn around and see what God has done. So you become thankful. Like if Peter was to remember the night Christine's Ugari band, and it did that she did not talk to him. She went to sleep without saying thank you. They remember the day when the breakfast was unavailable. She left for work before making breakfast. It will surprise her how bad Christine is. So I'm saying it will be important for us to understand, if you become somebody who only looks at what has gone wrong with your friend or with God, you'll never have the spirit of thankfulness. I told you four. So the last thing I want to say, because my subject is, we are in an anniversary, a celebration. Why do people find it difficult to actually celebrate. The last one is that people feel too busy to have time to give thanks. In other words, in their mind, they don't mind giving that, but I'm too busy to give thanks. Now, can you imagine telling God that you are too busy, for Him? Once you are too busy for Him, He'll call you home so that you can have time. Now, if you really are like that, when you have no time for your family, no time for your friends, no time for appreciating people, there'll be a problem. So you need to understand that, and of course in management, that's an unusual thing. There are things called performance appraisal, where you appraise how the quarter has gone, how the year have gone. We Christians must have something similar. When you sit back on a retreat, not with anybody, just with yourself, to see what God has done and give Him thanks, and you tend to have. So lack of time to evaluate, lack of time to see what God has done can become a problem. So with those four things, my prayer for Christine, for Peter, the girls and the boys, is that the Lord will walk with them every step of the way. And my wife and I have been married for 46 years. So after he's 17, add another 20. I want to say, may the Lord be with them. And if they invite us for the 50th wedding anniversary, which I'm unlikely to attend, we will look back to what God has done. But before then, quick wins in management, we call them quick wins, will help you to be motivated continuously. So spend time regularly, which was my first point, just evaluating what God has done and becoming grateful. That will slowly lead you to the 50th wedding anniversary. The Lord bless you.